Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our VIP event, and thank you for being here on a snowy afternoon. We all know that we are living in a time of incredible change, so with that in mind, I asked my team to put one slide together summarizing the more significant developments over the last few decades. And this is what they came up with. Yeah? So I'm sure you recognize a few of these faces. Now, with all this craziness around us, there's one thing that's not showing any sign of slowing down, and that is the rise of great television. So TV is alive and kicking. And it's no longer the cinema's little brother, it's really come of age. Now, movies, music, sports coverage, they're all getting better and better. They are all getting more critically acclaimed. So we have entered the new golden age of television. Now, the rise of TV and on-demand TV increases people's expectations. So they want better picture, they want better sound, and they want better design. Now, this is great news for Philips because this is where we excel, and 2018 has been a great example of that. Now, it was the year where we embraced the power of OLED like we've never done before, with our fantastic 803 and OLED Plus 903. And as we said before, we try to design TVs that we ourselves like to own. And you know, it's clear, those two are clear examples that not every OLED is created equal. Now, and if the reviews of 2018 and awards are anything to go by, I think we succeeded with those two models. I'm enormously proud to say that both the 803 and OLED 903, they picked up multiple awards and 6 different publications naming them TVs of the year. So this is a great achievement for us. Now, 2018 has been a great year for Philips, and our growth outpaced the market. And every one of you here today have all been part of this journey, so thank you very much. Now, but in this industry you cannot rest on your laurels, right? So we have to keep evolving, and we won't rest on our laurels because it motivates us and keeps us going to keep up the high standard and keep getting better. Now, we want to remain the best in picture quality, but we also want to become the best in sound. Now, how are we going to do all of this? Well, step number 1, we're going to create new partnerships, and we have a new partnership with Abbey Road Studios. Now, how cool is that? I mean, it's the iconic studio where artists have used it for like Beatles, ABBA, Michael Jackson, Lady Gaga. So now, as of this year, Abbey Road's, all the TVs, screens in Abbey Road Studios will be Philips TVs. And it's a great, great compliment for our brand. Now, second, the Philips audio brand has entered now is part of our TP Vision family. So just as we have done with TV, it is now time to bring the Philips audio products to the next level. Now, at this point in time, we're going to reintroduce some already existing popular lines from Philips audio and headphone that they're resonating well with consumers. And you will see some of them later tomorrow. But in parallel, we are working very hard to bring in the market some exciting new audio and headphone products that we will launch soon. And we will keep you posted of that. Now, third, our collaboration with Bowers & Wilkins continues. Now, these guys are the best in the business in what they do. And over the last year with our collaboration, it's been great to see how they work. and how they push themselves to deliver the best acoustic experience you can get. Now, above all, it's been really great fun working with these guys, and another example of a teamwork or a collaboration is a brand new LCD 4K 8804 featuring Bowers and Wilkins sound. Now, not only has a great sound, it has award-winning next generation P5 engine, Dolby Vision HDR10+ as well, and of course our very own Ambilight, which is still, by the way, one of the main reasons why people still buy Philips. Now, this is LCD. Of course, we are still committed to the power of OLED. So today you are the first people to see our two new OLEDs, the OLED 804 and OLED 854, featuring the third generation P5 engine, Dolby Vision and HDR10+. So great new products that you will see tomorrow in the different sessions. So, like in Formula One, we keep improving. Now, in this new golden age of television, we believe TV should sound as good as they look, and this is also our brief for 2019. Of course, we keep a very close eye on all TV technological developments and trends, but we only introduce them when they make sense. Okay? So, and to better explain this, I would like to welcome to the stage the ISEDge Research Director and industry legend, Mr. Paul Gray, just come back from CS. So please give a welcome to Paul.
Thank you, Costas. Legends, so no pressure there. I'd like to share with you today, and it's nice to see friends in the audience, and I appreciate you braving the snow and air traffic control and everything else, just to share with you a few of the things that we see surprising in researching the TV business at the moment, and hopefully they set a bit more of a scene as well. The presentation is all available afterwards on PDF, so you don't have to take photos all the way through it. There's also my email address at the end. If you want to email me, I'm very happy to share the whole presentation. All slides will be available. But I wanted to share with you some of the surprises of what's going on at the moment, and showing how Western Europe is now becoming the real crucible of UHD TV, which I think is not really what we expected a couple of years ago. So first of all, if you look at UHD TV shipment share, then for the last 2 quarters, Western Europe has led. And that's despite consumers in Western Europe buying slightly smaller TVs than consumers in China or the United States. And I think that's really quite a surprising result. The reason is that consumers in Europe really get the 4K message. And even on the sizes that are marginal, like 40 or 43 inches, then they're very, very happy to buy those extra resolution. Whereas in other countries, that's not necessarily the same case. So Europe is really leading on that one, and we're over 60% of TV shipping with 4K resolution in Western Europe. The other one that is really surprising is we all live in smaller houses in Western Europe, don't we? Not like the United States, and yet we're buying bigger and bigger TVs, and we're moving more and more furniture all the time to get those TVs in. And you can see that the old rules that everybody said was, well, everybody in the US has a large house and they have a huge TV. That's really not the case in terms of what consumers are doing with their money now. What we see is going on is that consumers in Europe are really changing their purchasing behavior, and it's becoming very different from the United States in one key factor. And that is that in the US, the 32-inch market is still going, and they do buy some very, very large sizes indeed. But in Western Europe, the market is concentrating now around the primary TV, the really big TV that people are putting in their living rooms, they're moving furniture for it, and that secondary TVs are tending to disappear. So the market is concentrating around the main living room TV, and that is getting much bigger. In fact, 55-inch is now the single most popular size for consumers in Western Europe in terms of what they purchased last year. And I think 10 years ago, we'd never have believed that they'd moved that much furniture, but that's definitely the case now. So we still haven't hit the point where consumers say that's too big. And especially last year, we saw 75 really beginning to appear. But of course, it's all about revenue and value as well. And when you look at Western Europe, which is a fiercely competitive market for OLED, then what we see in terms of the value is that OLED is really, really making its presence felt. OLED is a really, really important part of retailers' businesses now. And if you take 65-inch, then it's about a third of the value of that screen size. 55-inch, it's around about 20%. And that's about double the unit shipped. So it hits disproportionately hard in value, which is why retailers are so interested in that OLED product. Very, very important for them. Going on to TV shipment and the forecast for UHD, then we see it changing gear now. So the last 2, 3, 4 years, we've seen it as a conversion in sizes of resolution from 1080p to 4K. That's kind of finished now, and essentially from late this year, then anything where the size is 50-inch or bigger, it's going to be 4K. The panel industry has spoken, and that's just the way it's going to be. And what we see now is that the UHD TV market will develop really powered by screen size upgrades from consumers. So that conversion of sizes is finished, and it's now driven by upgrades in size. And so it's much slower, and it's more linked to the replacement cycle. So some change in gear. We're just developing our numbers at the moment for the final score on 2018, but it looks like about 17 million UHD TV shipped last year, and we expect that to rise to 21 million in Western Europe in 2022. So it's much more gradual now, driven by screen size growth. If you look at households, then 2018 at the end looks like we finished at around about 17-18% with a UHD TV in the living room. And this year it will go to 25%, and by 2022 it will be 40%. I was at a meeting presenting to some broadcasters recently, and I gave them these numbers, and there was a very long silence. And then one of them said what everybody was thinking, which is, we've really got to do free-to-air 4K within the next 2 years. And I think next year is probably the year that we will see that really, really happen. And of course, the poster event is going to be the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. So at that moment, broadcasters say, we've really got to do it. Live 4K UHD is tough. And I'm sure you've covered a lot about the World Cup. Certainly, there was a lot of craft there. There was a lot of learning, and by and large, it went fairly well. Certainly, it set a very, very good foundation for what happens next in 2020, and the experience is building. And if you look at that, what's happening in terms of channels, then beginning of October last year, we were at 99 worldwide. We're now, according to my numbers, at 136. And you can see that Western Europe leads again. Here we are with our tiddy little TVs and everything like that, but we're actually leading in terms of the choice of UHD channels. And these are live UHD channels, you know, linear TV. This isn't just on-demand libraries. So this is stuff that's broadcasting now, largely on satellite, but more and more choices appearing. The other one I'd call out is the big change in Japan. Of course, 1st of December was when Japanese broadcasters moved in one big wave to launch a lot of 4K services on satellite. And of course, NHK launched its one 8K service. And nobody else, as far as we can see, has any plans to do 8K for a very long while. They may start shooting in 8K, but delivery a long way away, really, that it just, the amount of data that is appearing and has to be delivered to consumers is too much until there's a new generation of compression in all likelihood. But you can see, in channels, Europe's still in a very, very good place. Russia has an amazing number of UHD channels. I think there are 8 UHD channels live today in Russia. If you haven't seen Siberia UHD, it's amazing. But, you know, honestly, what they're shooting is quite incredible. So we live in amazing times in terms of content. That TV content is becoming more like Hollywood and more like movies. That in terms of the budgets and the quality of the sets and the quality of the makeup and the quality of the cinematography. And at the same time, maybe Hollywood is becoming more TV-like, more episodic. So, as a very, very quick summary, the content is out there and it's growing rapidly. We're really at that tipping point now that everybody has to come in with content, and the reason why to have a UHD is now being convincingly answered. And there is this race to the top on content, and we also see content creators caring very much about how that is seen by consumers. You see them getting really involved in their various approved schemes to make sure that the investment they make in that content comes through to your living room, comes through to your eyeballs. 55 inches is the new mainstream size, and we start from there in terms of the interest of consumers at replacement time and retailers. And finally, 8K, well, people are making some brave early moves, but it's a long way off really, because that is about the economics of delivering it. Now there's going to be more video and no more bar charts, I promise. Thank you very much.
We know a lot about televisions. We know the brands, the technologies, the models, the price points. Most consumers see things a little differently. They're busy with other stuff, like this, and this, and this. Learning the difference between one model and the next isn't exactly a priority. When they decide to start looking for a new TV, all they have is a misty feeling about how much they want to spend and how big the screen should be. They emerge from this fog to be confronted with overwhelming choice. And our research shows they have no idea where to begin. But now, that's all about to change. In 2019, Philips is going to make things easier for busy consumers, pointing them to one TV that gives them all the latest tech at a price they can afford. Not our flagship model, not our low budget model, but the one in the sweet spot. The one with the flagship level specs without the flagship level price. Our message to consumers? This is the one you've been looking for. A flagship quality, high-end TV with all the latest technologies at a sensible price. This is the one that will sell itself. Okay, sure, a bit. But in a noisy, confusing world, this is the one that will stand out. The one clear winner. This is the one.
Indeed, this is the one. It's not 8K, it's not rollable, but it is the one to watch. It has great picture quality, it comes with stunning sound, and at a great price. We believe this will sell itself. Why? Because we've been listening to you, we've been listening to consumers, to trade, and we analyze the industry. We have basically 5 conclusions. As we all know, watching TV nowadays is about VOD. It's about streaming. We see in our figures that our current 7000 series, the users are all massively watching VOD. It is the most popular TV in our range for Netflix, Rakuten TV, etc. This probably also explains why the current 7000 series today is doing so well. We are really inclined to improve that proposition and launch it as the performance series in 2019. Our proven innovations, especially in picture quality with P5, and our improvements in sound in OLED this year, makes us very confident that we can now bring it into our mid-end series. Then on the shopper, and that's the most crucial part. We believe that consumers cannot know everything that's out there in the market. It's very tempting for us to assume that everybody does their reviews, they read all the research, etc. But actually, consumers normally have no idea what they're looking for. This kind of buyer is not really interested to do all that kind of homework, but they normally have a vague idea of the size of the TV they want to buy and the price they want to pay. What they want is to trust you as a journalist, us as a brand, and the trade who is selling the TV. At home, of course, I have an OLED Plus 903. It's beautifully wall-mounted. Everybody loves it. This Christmas, when my cousin was coming, he was actually saying, "Hey Martijn, which TV should I buy?" And I know his budget, I know what his viewing behavior is, and I actually recommended him to wait a little bit. Maybe not very good for business, but let him wait and buy the Performance series. Why? Because I believe the Performance series is going to be an honest TV, the one you would recommend to your friends. You will recognize this. You're all experts, and everybody asks you, what product should I buy? What TV should I buy? And it's very tempting and very normal then to say, let's go for the best TV. Let's go for the TV with the most awards, with the biggest technology, with the biggest innovations. And in my opinion, it's much more about selling the right TV, not about the best TV. I think it's about a TV you want to recommend to a friend. Now, this is exactly what we want to do with the Performance series. It's not maybe coming with the biggest technology, but we believe this is a TV that's going to be a clear winner. Why? One. We selected one TV, just one. Second, we gave it a name, not a code. And then we added 5 ingredients that really make it a Philips TV. Of course, it comes with Ambilight. 90% of users today are actively recommending Ambilight to friends and family. It's a very strong asset. Great picture quality, I mentioned P5, in combination with HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision. Winning mix. European design, it's not only functional, but it also looks smashing. You will see later on by yourself. It's a really smashing design, as you can expect from our head of design worldwide. It comes with Philips sound. I don't have to tell you in this room the step up we've been having in the last year on sound, and you will also hear it back tomorrow in our Performance series. And lastly, it's Android. It comes with smart functions. For example, we introduce next to the Netflix button also a quick access button with Rakuten TV, but it's also voice assistant enabled. So you can talk to the one with the Google Assistant and Amazon Echo. Now, we're almost there. We really believe strongly in the Performance series. We will invest to make this work. How we do that? With a simple message. This is the one to watch. We really go into stores and online to really invest, as we do in the OLED Plus,